I want to hit two birds with one stone here and talk to you about both the layout view and table formats. And in a way they are related. Well, I'll cover that in just a minute. But first of all, the layout view. The layout view is only available in your forms and reports. And like the design view, it allows you to make design changes to a database element, like your labels and their corresponding text boxes, but in a more general format. It's not as detailed as the design view, and it doesn't contain as many controls and features as you would find in the design view. For example, I've got my book details form here in the form view, and it's a very simplistic form. If I want to go ahead and change the layout here, the operative word being layout, I could go to the layout view if it's something simplistic or a little bit more intense, the design view. So let me go ahead and right click in a blank area. There's the two views that I'm talking about. Let's go to the layout view. And up at the top you have the related contextual tabs, design, arrange, and format, which by the way, the design tab was not available in the previous version of Access 2007, but it is now, and it's got some controls. Not all of the controls that you would find in the design view, just the more popular ones. For example, when I click on the More button, well, there's an extra one I didn't see. I don't see the line control, the option buttons control, the unbound and bound object frame controls. So let me go ahead and click off in a blank area and right click, go to the design view to prove my point, design tab, same tab, controls group, click on the More button. There's the line control, rectangle control. It wasn't there in the layout view. Also the unbound and the bound object frame controls, the option button. In any case, like I said, for more details, more controls, more features, go to the design view when you're designing your forms or reports. There's one thing I do like about the layout view is that I can view my records or the data within the fields here. Why would that matter? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and right click, go to the layout view. That when I'm navigating from record to record, let's say I come across one where the text box for that field is a bit tight or maybe too long, and of all the records it seems like that one is the longest one, so I can go ahead and select that text box, hover over the right hand side, click and drag it in to kind of do a best fit here, or if it's not large enough, click and drag it out. Now I don't know if you noticed this, but when I selected this text box and I clicked and dragged it, just that text box, how it moved the other text boxes in and out as well. The reason why is because, and here's a good segue, is that a table format has been applied to the labels and the corresponding text boxes. How do I know a table's been applied to it? Because when I select one, or any of them, you get the, well, dots around all of them, and the little tag in the upper left-hand corner. That's the indication that everything within it has been grouped into a table or has a table format applied to it. Now the good news is with the table format, if you've got labels and text boxes kind of all over the place, you can go ahead and quickly select them all and apply a table format, and it will go ahead and organize it for you. This one is known as the stacked format here, where it stacks the labels over on the left-hand side and the corresponding text boxes over on the right. So they're aligned, it's uniformed, it looks great, right? So if you're in a hurry to create a form, to make it organized, you can go ahead and apply the table format, or one of the two. There's another one, and I'll show you that in just a second. The bad news is that when you apply a table format, as you just saw, what I do to one text box, it applies to all the others. So it's not as flexible. So let me show you. If I didn't like the table format and I want to remove it, I'd come up here on the Arrange tab, normally, and go to the table group, and there should be a Remove button, but not in the layout view. Again, here's the difference between the layout and the design view. The design view has a Remove button, but not the layout. So I have to right click, go to the design view, click on the same tab, Arrange, and then come over here to the table group. It's there, but it's not highlighted. It'll only be highlighted when I select one of the cells within the table here. Then it'll go ahead and you can see that it's outlining all the other fields or cells there, indicating that all of them are in the table. And so I get the option here to remove it. Now the problem with this is that if I click on Remove right now, it's not going to remove it from all the other cells here. So if I click Remove, because I only have one selected, and I can hover over the upper left-hand corner and click and drag it, well, it removed the one, but when I click on all the others, they are still part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Undo a couple of times, and then go ahead and in the upper left-hand corner, click on the tag so it selects all the fields or cells within the table, then come up here and click on Remove, and removes it from all of them. That way I get my little square boxes in the upper left-hand corner. So when I click off in a blank area, select one text box, I can hover over that square box and move it around independently. Okay, move that over here and move this one right there. So if you're designing this from scratch, you're like, oh, I don't want to go ahead and click and drag these and align them, or use the feature that I talked about in an earlier training video, how you can go ahead and use the align feature. Select two text boxes and align them to the right or left of each other, or all of them for that matter. Instead, you can go ahead and select all of the fields here, labels and the corresponding text boxes. And the quickest way to do it is hold down the Control key and hit the letter A. That means for all. Then I can come up here on the Arrange tab to the table group and click on Stacked, and boom, puts them all together, uniformed and aligned just perfectly. That's the good news. Bad news is that it's not flexible, as we just went over. So there's the stacked one. Let's take a look at the tabular. Well, in the tabular, again, you want to make sure you select all the fields if you already have a table format applied to it, like the stacked. Otherwise, if I just go ahead and click off and select one, and then click tabular, it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and hit undo, and then click on the tag to select all the cells within the table, and then click on tabular, and that's what it looks like. How does that look in the form view? Right click, go to form view. So we have the labels up the top, the corresponding data fields, text box fields down at the bottom. I mean, there's quite a distance between the two. I can go ahead and go to the layout view or the design view to make some changes to bring them closer together. So if I right click, go to the layout view, let me go ahead and hover over the middle of the text box until I can see a four-way arrow. Then if I click and drag, it moves them all together collectively. And if I click up here and then I click and drag, it moves it down a bit. Okay. Well, that might work out, but what I don't like, at least with this table format, is that I have to scroll over to see all the others. I prefer them stacked and all grouped together within the same area here, not stretched out. Let me go ahead and hit undo a couple of times here. So I'm back to my stacked table format, and then really quickly, let me go ahead and select one of the labels and then hover over the right hand side of it, click and drag. Now, if I came up here on the Arrange tab in the layout, I don't get the size and fit option, or if I right click and I go to the design view on the Arrange tab, I get the sizing and ordering, the size and spacing option, to where I can go ahead and do to fit. Let me click off in a blank area and reselect this one and then try it again. Size to fit, because I want to fit the labels here. When I click on it, it selects the largest label and fits all the other boxes to the size of that label, and it was the book number label. Okay, so again, the difference between the layout view and the design view, you don't get many features or controls. Of course, you don't need that to go ahead and do a best fit in the layout view. Let me show you. Let me go ahead and click and drag and stretch it out. Right click, go to the layout view. If you just click and select the label, hover over the right hand side and do a double click really fast, there's the shortcut. So by now you get the idea that there are differences between the layout view and the design view. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.